from the gallery at that time. And then my Mac, my computer, and my devices broke down. So while I was crying, everyone else was like, yay, now you can take up brushes. You want to try oil painting?
So when your equipment broke down, who gave you the canvas? Did you buy?
So a lot of really wonderful, helpful artists, sina Jason Cortez, sina Katrina Palion, sina Maku, sina Marius Black. They helped, taught me the basics, like do not mix acrylic and oil. Jason in particular went over to my studio before, brought donuts. So I started calling him Jayco at that time. Like, this is how you apply gesso, this is how you wrap a painting so it doesn't get bubble marks. Those, really stuff like that. And then Katrina drove me around and helped me lift canvas because she was super strong and I was not. So yeah, it's partly coincidence. Kasi I tell people, even with awards, at the end of the day, this is the verdict of people from different preferences, with different backgrounds, and with different goals. Kasi it's possible na when I got accepted, it was during the time when, we need more painters. Or, we need more people from the global south. So I tell people, and even myself na, if you don't get in, it's possible na what you could have provided, they already got. And you just apply again. It's nice to be forced into a different comfort zone and get stressed out, but eventually learn that this was good for me. And it's nice to have people na who understand then na even if you come from different parts of the world, you have this is something that we can relate to. I would not have been experimenting more with the Torn Canvas series that I've been working on if it weren't for the residencies and the artists that I've worked with.
Okay, Isobel. Hello.
Hi.
So we were batchmates wala in Ateneo or during college.
Yeah.
And then there were 3 of us who went into visual arts. Di ba sa Ateneo walang fine arts?
No, as far as I know, even years after we graduated, there's no solid fine arts department. There's a program, and there were a couple of people I knew who taught there, but not for long. And yeah, you have some idea why we don't have it yet. But we have an art gallery. We have the Arete building, so that's nice.
Oo, saka they're, I think, more focused on the creative writing part compared to the visual part,
Back then, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Heights never knew I existed until after I graduated.
What was your course during college?
Humanities. So my tracks were literature and fine arts, but the course itself was humanities. I think by the time we graduated, there were only 8 of us left.
So humanities program.
Yeah, because the others either moved on to other courses or just went to interdisciplinary studies, which is its own course.
So dun sa humanities program, so you had literature and fine arts as track. Ano yung program for fine arts doon? Is it more on history, art history?
We had limited options at that time. So a lot of what I took ended up being Asian focused. So I think I took up Japanese art. There was Japanese history, and there was the art of the graphic novel, Introduction to Drawing by Christina D, which I nearly failed, and Aesthetics by Sir Salvador Bernal, rest in peace. But those are the ones I remember. What I found amusing was I did not plan this. By the end of my senior year, the admin informed me, hey, you qualify for a minor in Japanese studies. Congrats. And I'm just, oh, okay. And now, and then before that, you're like, oh, you can now fly to Japan for a short exchange program. What?
Because of the minor?
I don't think so. It was separate. But I did not expect that the classes I took were all part of something that could culminate in another accomplishment. I just took them because they looked interesting and I liked the teachers. So ayun, so I was there for 2 weeks, and then the year after that, I was like, okay, I have a minor now. But I did not learn the language. I just took like history, literature, arts, and other, not necessarily Japanese, but like Asian history under Ma'am Gu. So yeah.
Ang galing ano. So,
So it was nice of them to tell me because I would not have known.
hindi kasi di ba, for example, I went to law school. So dun sa law school before, during our time, you had to have a number of literature subjects so that you can get into the curriculum, the law school curriculum. So people in pol sci or legal management, yung mga electives nila, consciously they take up literature and then they get a minor na in it kasi the units are needed. So for your Japanese studies, yung minor mo, you never thought about na I'll get these certain number of units para meron kang minor degree?
No.
So
I just took as many classes I wanted. I remember Sir Chua was like, you seem like the kind of student who doesn't want to leave. Just marry a banker. Just keep studying forever. Kasi he was my thesis advisor. And I just kept adding stuff to my thesis until he had to lay down the law and say, like, you have to finish this. Stop reading, start writing.
So how's it going with the banker?
Nah. It's bad enough that I'm getting calls from banks on a daily basis, even without being married to a banker. I'd rather not. I'd rather not have 2 more calls.
So, so yun nga. So you took humanities during your college years. Were you really planning on painting? Were you painting na ba during college?
No.
Like what form of art ba were you doing before you started full-time painting?
I only started doing digital painting when I used to work at Samsung and they gave us a Wacom tablet each. And I was just like, oh, cool tablet. So while waiting for client feedback, I ended up like, I remember this really deranged fan art of, I think it was Tom Hardy and then Tom Hiddleston, like stuff like that. And then I think a year or so after that, Maku Felix invited me to a group show at LRI Design Plaza in Makati. And I said, I don't paint or I don't have experience with making art. And she's like, you do what you usually do digitally. So I ended up printing or learning how to FA them. It helps then that I had experience at Inquirer. And then I framed them. So nagkaroon ng it gained some feedback. And then we also ended up exhibiting at Vinyl on Vinyl back when they were still at B-side. So I got a lot of nice feedback from the gallery at that time. And then my Mac, my computer, and my devices broke down. So while I was crying, everyone else was like, yay, now you can take up brushes. You want to try oil painting? Which is funny because I guess this is another segue. I remember while I was going through your questions. I did learn to paint as a kid. I had one oil painting of this realistic banana. And the only reason I got to do that was I was bribed minute burgeritos for every day that I went outside to continue that painting at a painting workshop in San Pedro. So when the burgeritos phased out, I stopped. I left.
Really? Wait, you're from Laguna?
Yes.
San Pedro?
Well, I was born in Cebu, but we live in Laguna now.
So you went to college lang in Manila? Pero your whole life was spent dun sa...
In Laguna.
In Laguna. Tapos there you took painting classes during your youth?
Well, it was a workshop, so it was less than a month. Oh, I don't know. It's like around a month. But just enough to finish a painting.
It was one of those summer classes ba na everyone takes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they tried to make me try anything. And so I took up singing, I took up piano, I took up painting for a bit, and then other activities, ballet. And then after that, I was just like, did my own thing, and I just focused on my studies until after college.
Tapos, all the while, during college, you weren't thinking na this is where you will end up. I mean, this is what you will end up doing after college.
I don't remember ever thinking about it because we did not have the facility. I was in the dorm. There's no space. We do not have anything related to fine arts at that time. Although I did enjoy yung FA related classes. I do remember taking up yung UST entrance exam, and it involved drawing something on your desk. So that was fun. Those are the things I remember that's remotely fine arts related. And also si Ma'am CD
Oo.
sa introduction to drawing.
So, fast forward to when you were working na with Samsung. This was when ba? 2000...
Damn, this was
See, we graduated 2009.
2010 or 2009. It's either 2009 or 2010.
Oh, so directly after that, tapos you did the exhibit in Makati.
2012, 20.
Oh.
It's either December 2011 or like at the very start of 2012. I think it was end of 2011. And then 2012 was vinyl on vinyl.
So when your equipment broke down, who gave you the canvas? Did you buy?
Well, so a lot of really wonderful, helpful artists, sina Jason Cortez, sina Katrina Palion, sina Maku, sina Marius Black. They helped like
Oh, sila Marius.
Yeah.
Was-
taught me the basics like do not mix acrylic and oil. This is how you apply gesso. Jason in particular went over to my studio before, brought donuts. So I started calling him Jaco at that time. Like, this is how you apply gesso. This is how you wrap a painting so it doesn't get bubble marks. Those, like, really stuff like that. And then Katrina drove me around and helped me lift canvas because she was super strong and I was not. So, yeah.
When you were doing the digital art, were you thinking na about a certain concept? Or did you have any artistic concerns na during that time?
When I was in like group shows with
When you were
Maku,
doing group shows.
we had themes So we had this group called Spider Silk Productions. So I remember the first theme was about steampunk. So it was techno teapot. We started like I think we did well because the founder of the local Dr. Sketchy's art school in the Philippines branch, we ended up working with them. So we organized live art events. And we had like very solid themes naman per show. But I remember yung feedback from Vinyl and Vinyl was that your style is all over the place. You have different ways of approaching the subject, and it becomes more like different people instead of you. So if you can't rein that in, you might as well just make series out of something. So,
that's good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kasi I can never be that sort of person who can recreate the same thing over and over. Because the way I see it, once I finish something, I'd be like, that part of me is done. And I'm no longer the same person that I am when I create my next painting, is my perspective of it. Plus, I wanna experiment on other things, which is kind of interesting. The way after spending time abroad, me thinking na the concept of style is so ingrained in the Philippines, but it's not so much the same way in other international art communities. But
What do you mean? Can you give a concrete example?
So, for example, so the first time I had an art residency was in the States, and we can talk about that later, I guess.
Yeah.
But I remember them showing their work because we had to present our work per day, and then them describing, oh, this is what I want to do, and then this is also what I did, and this is also what I did, and they're different. There's no like style that they even did like oh, here's a painting, here's a sculpture, here's a poem, so they don't think about that style per se. They're just like what's more important to them is the not so much the narrative, but more of what the subject that they're passionate about, especially if they're more into like social justice and bringing up inequalities. So it's less about the outcome and more about what they wanna portray
So
and what they wanna
the concept
message.
dictates the outcome.
Yeah.
Something like that, ano?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go back to that when we talk about residencies at the second part. Kasi for now, what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to show people na there is no real starting point in an artistic career. Kasi, di ba, when, like for example, a banker, or a lawyer, or a doctor, di ba, there are stages to it. And then there are certain things that you need to do or accomplish to get to that next stage.
There's a feeling of, oh, I missed that window.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, timeline.
Yeah. And with art, it's not like that eh. Especially if you're going to enter the scene, di ba? You can enter it in a lot of different ways. Tapos, you really don't know where you end up. Di ba? If you get lucky or not. Di ba? So,
Like a wonderful example right
Mm.
now is si Sir Ricky
Ricky.
Francisco. Because he started working for Fundación Sansorib, di ba? And he writes, he curates for artists, he helps them, including me, out. And then he started painting afterward.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sir Ricky, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I
are you
remember
related?
it. No.
Ano, okay, so same family name lang.
Yeah, but that was the joke because we had the show together. So, and he introduced me to Gallery Stephanie.
Hmm.
So it was just like collaboration of Francisco.
Wow. So, what I noticed lang with the art scene, with the artists is, the longer you stay sa art scene, the more defined your, lalo na if you're doing gallery art, di ba? Kasi, there are different kinds naman of art that we do, pero the more prevalent one is the gallery part kasi this is our bread and butter. Like, for example,
Not necessarily. It can be the bread and butter if that's your preference.
mm,
But there are other artists who don't do gallery work at all. They just get by, well, I don't want to say just, but they get by mainly on commission or not even their art. They can have a day job and then they spend their leisure time or their own time
Yeah.
doing art. Doesn't make them any less of an artist.
yeah, of course. And then there are some din who make their bread and butter through grants, di ba? And doing
Yeah.
residencies abroad, which comes in with some grant money, di ba? And then some are institutional, di ba? Pero what I noticed lang is, since may kasamang market value yung ginagawa natin, some, kumbaga, bend dun sa demands of the market. So yung aesthetic is nagiging linear. Like they try to foster a certain style, and once that sells, they tend to stick with it, and that's not wrong. That's something.
It's up to you, yeah. Well, it becomes dishonest and in a way exploitative if an artist for example wants to experiment and for one reason or another is being forced into a pigeonhole.
Yeah. Oh.
But if they prefer to be a certain way na this is what I want to do for the foreseeable future, then yes, that's
then no problem, diba?
that's amazing, yeah.
Oo. So with that part ba, kasi like the works that are here now, they're somehow different from your recent works na. Like from what you showed sa Kaida last year. I mean, may semblance pa rin of what you did. These were in 2016, if I remember.
This is one of my
Earlier work.
first pieces when I went quote unquote full time. But by full time I mean FOOL, full time artist. And this was during COVID.
And that was during COVID. Kasi this one resembles the newer ones, a lot. So How do you process ba? Can you run us through how you process making an artwork? Do you think about selling or do you think about what works or what you want to do?
Well, naturally, when I left the usual corporate job, I had to think about it then. If not for me, but at least for my cat. And but mainly, I did not, like, for example, if someone wanted to commission me an entirely different thing, I would turn them down. At least I had that privilege. Na I can't do that. Or if they asked me to do something that I did 10 years ago, I would say I can't do that anymore. That's not the person that I am now. Or kasi I usually describe my work as cathartic. So it's hard for me to explain. I think of something, I have a kernel of an idea, but usually that does not end up that's not become the finished piece. Kasi while I'm working on it, it becomes its own monster. So I don't know what you mean by describe the process. Is it like
Sige,
draw something, cry, finish,
Hindi naman.
vomit? There you go.
Hindi,
Here's
kasi
this.
I'll use myself as an example and just to contrast. Ano? Kasi for me, I have a certain agenda that I want to pursue. Like for me, for example, yung decolonization concept. And then
Okay, yeah. So it depends on the show.
it depends on the show.
Yeah, kasi usually I would propose something that this is what I want to show at this. So that's the overarching. So that's the advice that I remember from different galleries, that if I can't stick to a style, I might as well be grounded by the theme or the message, more or less.
So how do you come up with those themes?
It depends kasi of course it depends on the present uh the atmosphere of the time. Like my biggest painting to date was about the drug war, for instance. And then the one that I showed you earlier was about the a very present and an
Sige.
ongoing reality that we still face in the Philippines. And then some of them don't really have like a solid idea like this one, but it's about the feeling, the atmosphere of melting away, or of losing yourself because you lost your usual rituals and activities, and of being a person during COVID. So that's what turned out. So sometimes there's an overarching thing, and sometimes it's really just about me slapping paint using the palette knife and seeing where it takes me. And if it doesn't work out, then I'll discard it and then I'll paint again.
Yeah. And I really love that na ganun yung process. Kasi I've interviewed artists din na other artists na yung ginagawa nila is they let the medium dictate the concept. So, kumbaga you start anywhere eh. It's about how you produce, di ba? So, maganda kasi it shows din how our personalities are and how unique each artwork is, di ba? So, just to give an example, so you showed this to me earlier. I'm going to show it to the camera when ano. So, you mentioned that this was a small series. Where did you exhibit this again?
Oh man, I'm drawing a blank on the venue itself, but this was a group show curated by Lena Kobangbang.
Uh-huh.
Amazing artist. And so she wanted us to create something. Then she had this lovely prompt, and then she had this title of the show.
Mhm.
And then I thought of this because I was like looking up the news.
Mhm.
Usually that's what happens. I end up watching the news, getting pissed, and then painting.
Would you say you're political?
Isn't everyone?
Huh?
Isn't everyone?
Ah,
Politics
so, then,
basically means being in public or relating to other people. If
Mhm.
you're not relating to other people, why are you exhibiting?
Exactly. So,
Kasi
that's
even
it.
even just like painting for yourself and the act of presenting it to the world is in itself relating to the public or to others. And that's essentially what politics means.
Yeah, and the fact that you're relating to reality is
Yeah.
already makes everything political. Ano, sige, so tell us about these kasi from what I've showed to the camera, these are regular items you can find in a home.
Yeah.
Diba?
So-
And
Yeah. So the series title was A Bunch of Random Things.
a bunch of random things.
And I found it validating that the people who understood it right away from the title alone were women as well. Kasi a bunch of random things abbreviates to ABORT, abort. So these are all the they've been records of women using these items to self-induce abortion.
So how did you come up with that? Was it a prompt because of the show?
Well, no one else talked about abortion, if that's what you mean. But she had this anyway. She usually back then would just give, or here's the title, and the title itself is interesting, and then here's like a line from a song, or from here's a text from a book, and then she would email us. This is the general idea, and it's up to you to play with it. And it just works. Like everyone has like very different but somehow interconnected points of view. But I guess also because Lena made sure to select people who somehow have some form of kinship, if not like in terms of the medium, but also in terms of how we see the world. That's the way I saw it anyway. And this was what I thought of at that time.
What I love about it kasi is yung irony. As if, I mean, I didn't get it right away.
Kasi they felt like, diba? They felt like images from textbooks na parang,
Exactly.
yeah.
And yun nga, para pa siyang, it's something that you would put on a children's book. So, and then they're so regular na you wouldn't think about na these objects are used to induce abortion, di ba? So it's more sinister than it looks. You know?
Yung last piece nga dapat niyan was like a bottle of vitamin C, but I couldn't make it look visibly like vitamin C right away. So I scrapped that idea. There were a lot more to these than the ones that were not so straightforward na. I had to scrap them. So these were just 2, 4, 6, 9 pieces. Tapos 3 and then a column. Yeah.
They weren't framed, these ones? No.
At that time, it was loose. But yeah, it could be easily put in the frame. But it also depends kasi on where it would be displayed. Kasi baka mamaya hindi kasya dun sa original proportions. So they might as well adjust. Because, women adjust.
Yeah, so I love this series. Ang ganda nila tingnan. Tapos yung kwento lang behind it makes this work so valuable talaga. So yeah.
Thank you.
When I floated the idea of this art podcast, a lot of friends were asking how they could support. The easiest way is to hit the subscribe button. It's free. It's just one click, but it would do wonders for Studio Maya. So please subscribe, and we will work very, very hard in improving our set. Thank you. Iso, you started painting relatively late na in your kasi some people they really go through it high school pa lang through makiling, diba? And then some go through it sa college with fine arts, and then we had to find our way to the painting scene through a different route. So I understand na you've had like 4 or 5 residencies abroad.
So there was Vermont Studio Center, PILOTENKUECHE, 2 at Art and History Museum's Maitland in Florida. So there are 4, pero 3 separate ones, and then 1 online during COVID because we couldn't go out. So I guess 5. 4 na physical visit, and then 1 online.
How did you learn about these residencies? Kasi no one teaches you that I would know.
Honestly, most of them are from friends. They would be like, kasi they're more chronically online than me. And they'd be like, hey, there's something that you can apply to. Do it. And I'm like, okay.
So you just applied.
Yeah.
So what was your first
Kasi
one?
what's the worst that can happen, di ba?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing would happen. I mean, nothing bad naman.
Yeah.
I mean, you won't
A
lose
lot of them
anything.
are a lot of them sadly come with fees. So those are the ones I tend to avoid.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them are free, but you have to cover the costs. And some of them have offer funding
So what
or
was your first
accommodations.
one ba?
The first one in 2018 was Vermont Studio Center in Vermont in the US. This was the first time I experienced black ice and nearly ran into traffic. Well, slipped into traffic. Thanks, black ice. Kasi yeah, that was right before winter, and I did not expect Vermont to be as cold as it was. And I remember then, sorry if this is jumping the gun. I remember, so we had this fairly big batch of artists from different walks of life, but mostly they were from either Canada or the US because of the proximity. I remember everyone having a day job except for me. And I felt like such an alien na I thought, kasi I remember when being a quote unquote full-time artist was the goal for artists here in Manila. And then you go to a completely different landscape only to find out that it's a different context. And it's a different context abroad. So I'm just like, should I get my day job back? And they were like, so like one of them's a tour guide, one of them's a professor, one of them's an Amazon seller. So and they're still artists. Nobody can tell them that, oh, you're not doing this for 48 hours at a time. You're not an artist.
Yeah, it's different here,
Yeah.
So when you get exposed abroad, you get exposed to
Walks
other
of life.
practices din, diba?
Yeah.
And yun nga, one thing din I noticed na when you go there, and then you find an artist na yung day job niya is a bagger. And there's no shame in that.
Yeah, one of my favorite artists that I met in Florida, and she exhibited. She was one of the Florida artist winners, Florida Arts Prize winners. So she exhibited at the museum while I was there at the uh, Florida Museum of Modern Art, I think. So I was there. I celebrated with her, and then the next day she went back to her day job at this Filipino restaurant in Maitland. But before that, she said that she was a bagger at Publix.
Diba?
Yeah,
Tapos
because the minimum wage there is higher, and honestly, you can. I'm not saying it's good because times are still dire in the US, but better wages when it comes to
blue collar jobs.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Oh.
term for it. Like if I were to do that, like I wanted to work nga at 7-Eleven or be a Grab driver. And then I found out na you will actually lose money doing that compared to what I used to do. So I'm like, okay, might as well just focus on art then. But I really wanted to like go outside and not suffer from cabin fever as much as I did, especially during COVID. And I wanted to try these out, but yeah, no, we don't have the same opportunities as we would have
Yeah.
in other countries,
Oh.
unfortunately. So,
So aside from those opportunities, and then the wages that we will be getting if we do, alam mo yun, blue collar jobs, yung perception din, which is what I want to change. Kasi,
yeah, imagine, di ba? Like I wanted to say na, hey, I work at 7-Eleven or I work at Family Mart, and be like, why? Like, why not?
di ba? So,
I get coffee.
yeah, so it's unfortunate lang na may ganun na perception dito. Kasi,
The concept of the full-time artist.
yeah.
Which is great if you wanna be a full-time artist.
Mm.
But, if you wanna do other things or if you can't afford to be that, you shouldn't call yourself any less of an artist.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's go back to Vermont. How did you land that residency?
Ayun, like a friend gave me a friend gave me the link to their website, apply, because they have rotations. And then I found out that people like so many Filipino artists have gotten in. And before me, like the batch right before me, it was Renz Baluyot. So I asked him for advice on how to ship materials and what did you do. So ayun, so I was like super grateful na there were others before me who were able to provide, oh, this is what I did, this is how I made the most of it. Blah, blah.
So, kasi, was this the first residency you applied to?
Yeah.
Hindi kasi I asked. So, that was your first one that you applied to? And then you got
So, but-
accepted right away?
I think so, but of course, that was like not the only thing I applied to. I remember I got a bunch of links from different people and saying you should apply here, here, here. If I remember correctly, Allianz wanted me to apply, but I do not have a fine arts degree, so I was disqualified now, so I couldn't apply. So this was before VSC. And then when I found out that VSC doesn't care what your course is, they just want to get your 5 defining works. And parang sort of blind siya. So they don't care what your credentials are. They just want to know na, oh, are you part of a minority? Or do you need extra accommodations?
Yeah.
What materials do you have and will require when you're there? And then your 5 best works. That was it.
Kasi I've been talking to other artists din, even from different disciplines like writing and then filmmaking.
Oh, and my writers sa VSC, that's why I loved it. Like
So interdisciplinary siya?
well, there were like two areas. There's like writers and then artists, and you can either work together or if you want, you can collab. Or alam ko like mga writers would perform at the laundromat nearby the center. So that was my favorite part. I ended up talking with the writers more than the artists. I guess that's because of my corporate and my educational background.
Oh, kasi you're one of the few na nag-accept ka agad. Kasi for example, may iba akong, ang dami kong kilala, they had to apply to like 50 before they got in one.
It's partly coincidence. Kasi I tell people, even with awards, at the end of the day, this is the verdict of people from different with different preferences, with different backgrounds, and with different goals. Kasi it's possible na when I got accepted, it was during the time when, oh, we need more painters. Or, oh, we need more people from the global south. So I tell people, and even myself na, if you don't get in, it's possible na what you could have provided, they already got. Or at that time, there was just too many of people na you could have provided. And you just apply again. Kasi, especially with VSC, I don't remember paying.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can just, and they do it like a few times a year. So you can just keep applying.
So after Vermont, ano yung other residencies mo? I heard na you went to Germany?
Yeah, so that was the longest one so far. PILOTENKUECHE in Leipzig. When COVID hit, we thought it was a joke when we were watching it on the news. We're like, oh, is this gonna be like swine flu? Oh, it's not like swine flu. We have to go home. So we had 2 exhibitions there. Kasi with VSC, they don't care if you don't produce anything or if you have no goal in mind. Kasi it's up to you. Like, we had someone there who was a mom and she just wanted to get away from her kids. That was her goal in VSC. And no one judged her for like good for you, stay here, do as much as you want. And she ended up producing a lot then. So even if there were no tangible goals or parameters, people ended up filling their studios anyway. And then with PILOTENKUECHE, we had 2 exhibitions because it was 3 months. So that was nice na I was able to say na I exhibited in Leipzig.
Oh, so you were there for 3 months?
Yeah.
And then
March 2020.
March 2020. So
it was January to March. So you can imagine what happened in March 2020.
So yours was cut short? Or did you finish?
We finished, but yung last show namin, no one could visit. Kasi,
Lockdown. Oo.
So we ended up making a video of it, of the warehouse, na para naman for safety. They wanted me to stay, for much longer kasi nag-close na yung embassy. They saw that our hospitals were full, people were dying on parking lot. And then they said, our next batch of artists were gone. Just stay here. All they wanted was for me to keep painting yung idea ko that they wanted me to continue and to fill the warehouse with it. But my cat was at a cat hotel in QC. And kawawa naman, everyone else was getting was getting taken home na except for him. So I'm like, okay, I have to go back.
Yeah, lucky naman your cat.
Kasi kawawa din eh.
Yeah.
Although he was in good hands kasi I personally knew the owner of the cat hotel, and she's a vet. So
Yeah.
she gave me videos every day. But at the same time, that's not their obligation to keep them for longer than what was necessary. So kawawa naman din.
So after the Leipzig ba? Yung
Leipzig, yeah.
Leipzig.
Yeah.
Leipzig. After the Leipzig residency, you did the Florida one.
Yeah. Oh, well, I had
the
an online one.
The online.
Yeah, the one at Bonfire.
Pero if hindi COVID, you could have gone to Spain?
I don't think so. I think it was still online talaga. Because they wanted people who do not necessarily have the means to leave, who still have a chance to have a residency. And we were we were up to date. We spent time with each other online just as much as a person would have at a conventional residency. So I appreciated that. And luckily naman, we did not have internet problems for most of that time.
And then after the Spanish online residency, you did Florida.
Yes.
This was your latest one.
Yeah, well, twice.
Twice,
Yeah.
diba? Oo. So, can you tell us about yung four na yun? How are they different? And then, ano yung demands ng kada isang residency?
So as like I said, so the goal is different, and what the residency wants usually is also differs. Kasi there are residencies who would say na, oh, we want artists specifically from Southeast Asia, or we want artists specifically from our local community only, or we want artists specifically who are queer, who have this challenge, this financial difficulty, or physical disability, or artists who work in pairs, or an artist collective. So there are so many who cater to what you may fit into or what you want to work towards. So like with VSC, it depends, because they have really short programs and they also have fairly long ones. I think I was there for a month. And then with PILOTENKUECHE, what matters is that you produce something for the show, and medyo sila. They have this program na, oh, you have to travel to certain places with us. So
This is Florida.
this is the Leipzig one.
The Leipzig, okay.
Kasi with VSC, you can just stay in your room or do nothing or collaborate. So it's really up to you. What they only require is, if I remember correctly, one open studio event for not just for the residency program, but also for the people in the town, so they can visit and see what people do, especially from different countries. So it's interesting. And then with PILOTENKUECHE, there's for 2 months out of 3, we go somewhere, or we spend time with other people, or we it's kind of optional, but you're also kind of an ass if you don't go.
Yeah.
And I like going to every single one, because we ended up going to here's the church in the area, the famous cathedral, or here are some of the art supplies that you might like, or here are shows from local artists, because there are warehouses of communities that you can also visit nearby.
Mm-hmm.
So even if because I remember some artists feeling stifled na, oh, I wanna just keep working. Why do I have to keep going out? But as someone who has to be forced to go out, I appreciate the effort. and then with Florida naman, it's up to you then. You can. So what's unique about it is that you get to stay inside the museum
In
for a
Florida.
month. Yeah,
Uh,
inside the museum for a month, and it's a very unique museum because there are wildlife in there. I painted next to hawks and to a black snake, some frogs. So wildlife like that. And there were like I saw my first possum.
Did it
There were
take
like
awesome?
armadillos. So yeah, so like there are wildlife inside the museum, and there's like a giant pond with living creatures. Oh, there was a turtle din pala. And then you sleep in the same bed where the founder died in.
What? So that's added inspiration.
but yun nga, they're like after that there's no program. You can stay or go out for as much as like you can produce, or you can just spend your time ruminating. Because that's what I did for the first time. Kasi I remember, so after my first 3 residencies that had like a group of artists or batch of artists that you can talk to, not necessarily work with, but at least you can work alongside with. Dito, like for the first time, I was a solo resident and I was just like lost. Because I had a plan. I remember because you usually have to have a proposal when you submit to them. But when I got there, I'm just like, I don't know, what am I doing? So nagkaroon ng parang existential crisis. They had local artists naman working there then. So I got to talk to them. But I ended up tearing and conceptualizing more and wrecking stuff more than actually producing. So when they invited me to exhibit at the museum, I said na okay, this is sort of my redemption arc after the non-productivity of last time. So I was really grateful to them for that. Because it was supposed to be just an exhibition. But they ended up making it a full residency again. So they provided another stipend, which was nice. So
Saya
yeah, that's it.
naman. Ang sarap naman nun.
Yeah, I encourage anyone and everyone to oh nga pala, this is what I remember. So I don't remember the artist who was supposed to follow me because it was another Filipino artist, so I was excited. But I personally don't know them because I don't know their name. They only brought it up with me because they had visa issues though.
How?
They
So?
were rejected by the US Embassy.
Oh no.
So
Even
just
with the letter from the institution?
Yep.
Was Trump the president?
Not yet,
Not yet, really.
Or shoot, he could have been.
It
Yeah.
could have been,
Kasi
yeah.
ilang years na siya. Yeah, it's highly possible. So I was just like, yeah.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate.
That's like one of the biggest hurdles that we have to deal with as Filipino artists who wanna work or even just travel and experience abroad.
Yeah, the visa part, ano. Yeah. And then yung sa online residency naman, how did that go? What was it about?
Well, I remember I wasn't even getting out of bed because I was just like, I got flooded twice. And then all my materials and my previous work were like washed away. This inspired an exhibit later on, but I was just like I didn't feel like doing anything. I was just catatonic in a sense. So when I saw that there's an online residency, I was just you know what? Why not? Anything to get me out of bed and shower. So I ended up doing 2 things during the height of COVID. It was do some corporate work for a client at Silicon Valley, and then apply to this residency that turns out it helped me naman. They were very I think we were all on the same boat no matter how far apart we were. And that made us feel closer in spite of the technical unique challenges.
So yung sa Vermont mo, your friends gave you the link. and then ask you to apply, like
Yeah.
recommended that you applied here.
Yeah.
With Leipzig, how did you find that residency? Do you remember?
I think it was just a sponsored ad on Instagram.
And then you applied there.
Yeah. And this was supported by Gallery 9. Cuz they asked me to choose between, so I was accepted to this Canadian residency and the one in Germany. And then I said, "You know what? Let's try EU." Cuz it's going to be harder to apply for a visa in EU without a strong reason, so might as well do it now. So
Yeah.
that's what happened.
So that was an online ad lang. Kasi now, di ba, if you're
Ang dami.
following, ang dami na talaga.
But a lot of those I don't catch because I don't like really look for it. So I'm really grateful that I have people who tell me, "Hey, this came up." Blah, blah, blah.
Mm. And then for the Florida one, how did you find that residency?
Well, one of my friends, I remember, she sent this website. It's like, this looks like a nice website, and they have this strong program, and she was like, "Oh, they accept international artists, so might as well try it out."
So, from my perspective kasi for example me, when I was applying for residencies, I got rejected in 15 first before I was able to land one. And then from those rejections kasi, you're going to see na how you are going to apply next. Kasi like you've said a while ago na there are certain concepts and certain parameters na the residency gives for you to get in. And then you are going to apply based on those things that they're looking for.
Yeah.
So when you applied for the 5 residencies that you've attended, how did you craft your proposal?
So it depends. Kasi, like, yun nga, I remember VSC was doing just 5 works. And then with PILOTENKUECHE, they wanted you to have this concept of, okay, what would you do if you were to exhibit here? Same with Florida, even though they don't really require you to produce anything, they still ask you to submit a proposal, your artist statement, and what your goals are. Like what do you wanna what sort of work are you working towards? And I think it's usually like that. Some really big residencies require ano pa nga budgeting, plans, or who's funding you if they're not the ones doing it. And the big one is letters of recommendation from professionals on the field or people that who can parang vouch for you
yeah.
as an artist and as a person.
Mhm.
So yun yung malaki. Kasi I remember I usually tend to do this spur of the moment na parang, oh, deadline is today, might as well do it. And then if it requires letters, oh, damn. Or if it requires a budget plan, oh, what budget? So dun ako natitrip. But for the most part naman, they do like get back to you when you lack something and say, so if you apply next time, this is what you could do para you have a strong chance. Or they would just say, now we had so many applicants and you just didn't fit in for this batch and sorry about that, blah, blah, blah. So I appreciate those naman kasi a lot of those include feedback.
So, in your opinion ba, what do you think was the factor that got you accepted into these?
Honestly, yeah, like what I said earlier, part of it could be just luck. And part of it is it's unfortunate, but part of it is that a lot of applicants do not end up applying because they would think, oh, I can't even afford the plane ride if hindi siya covered by the residency. And a lot of times they don't. Or a lot of them do not cover your room and board, your daily expenses, blah. And I'm privileged to be able to handle it if I get accepted. But a lot of them don't end up applying at all, even if they would have been qualified. So that's a big factor. Another thing is yung artist statement. And I think this is also my biggest challenge because I'm really bad at writing artist statements. And it also I also rewrite it depends on what I'm currently working on. And we don't we don't have that training.
We don't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or we also don't have that means na like we're not used to doing it because we end up asking for other people to do it. So I think that's like a big thing. And then yung mga long-term goals like yung mga budget and and connections then are really important. Especially for me na since I'm usually like a gremlin indoors, I usually don't go outside. And it's not just like me asking for help, it's also like me being able to be of help to others then for these things. Now which I regret not doing as much as I would like. So what else? Yeah, those are the big, and yun nga, application fees are big. Kasi for a lot of people, $20, $10, not that big a deal. But for us, it accumulates eh.
It does.
$20 is like a week's of groceries a week's worth of groceries. And yun nga, the more you apply and the more you get rejected, you're like, and then you calculate how much that amounts to down the road and you're like, you get demoralized na.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of the residencies na are that don't require application fees have parameters such as you have to be a resident in the state or you have to be living here.
Mm-hmm.
So yun din another hurdle then.
Mm-hmm.
So it really differs really depends on the residency that you're after. Ako kasi I just tend to like shoot my shot and then I just remember if they reply back and they'll be like, oh, I got in, thanks. But I also like appreciate those that get back to me and say you were lacking in this area and we apologize.
Most don't give those feedback.
Oh really?
Yeah. Yung some that I have applied to, they explicitly state that there na we don't give feedback on why you weren't
okay.
accepted.
Mm-hmm.
So
because I wanted to ask you rin about your experience with your residency. Yeah.
yeah, that's another story. Pero mine kasi was more interdisciplinary. So they get a bunch of people from different fields.
Was this the one about climate change?
Yeah, that was my topic.
Yeah.
So the others kasi like there was an astronomer, my doctor, my women's rights activist. So there were like 15 of us and then they get one from each field. So one from visual arts. I was lucky enough to get there.
Yeah. Kasi diba, that's another type of residency.
That's another type.
They essentially create this collective based on their specific theme and who fits into that theme.
There are also some din, like for example, most artists na family na. There are some who offer na even your family
diba?
there to the venue. Like I know this one from Germany. You stay for 6 months and then your whole family ba may dala dun. So yeah, again, so siguro in choosing from what I get from what you were saying, in choosing a residency, pipiliin mo rin yung bagay sa'yo. Like the art style or what they're looking for.
Yeah.
If this would fit your schedule or yung concern mo when it comes to your work. Like,
yeah, most of the time they specify naman like we want this artist working on this medium or
yeah. Kasi there are so many residency calls for applications now na nakakalula if you it'll take a lot of time if you apply to all of them. Diba? So you should be picking talaga kung alin yung sa tingin mo a bagay dun sa type of work that you're doing and what they're asking for. Diba? And yun nga, like for example me, when I apply for a residency, if I see that there's an application fee, most of the time I don't.
Or I will check now, where is this fee going towards?
Yeah.
Kasi merong iba na same with diba, with contests, with competitions.
Yeah.
Yung mga it feels like for profit. And you're funding them with your fees.
And then
so may mga ganun na you get the vibe na this is for their profit and not a mutual benefit. Like eventually after
yeah.
So it helps na if you know someone who's already applied or has already gotten in and they would give you their feedback and that's invaluable.
Yeah. And then one of the things pala na people should be careful of then when they apply. Kasi there are some who would tell you na you'll get this award pero you have to give this certain amount. So that's bogus na in that sense.
Same with diba? Like apply to art anthologies.
Exactly.
It's the new for-profit art schools. Kasi before yun yung uso, yung mga for-profit art schools. Now it's
Mm.
like a more short-term but easier to break into market of residencies.
Yeah.
So it makes you feel bad for the ones who are doing it din talaga for a cultural exchange of ideas and perspectives, for international collaborations. And then there are people who are in it for the fees.
So, why do you think should artists apply for art residencies?
Well, what do they want out of their art first and foremost? And in my case personally, I don't go outside. So it's nice to be forced into a different comfort zone and get stressed out, but eventually learn that this was good for me. And it's nice to have people who understand then, na even if you like come from different parts of the world, you have like, oh, this is something that we can relate to. And then they share their experiences, and then we have this unique experience together. And then we may not necessarily be friends after that, but we still like interact online, and I still like follow their trajectory, and it's so nice to see that this is where they came from, this is how far they've gotten na ever since. Like even the ones that I did yung online residency for, that they've been at like museums na, and it's so great, and they have different life experiences na ever since. Ayun. So it's nice to have like something na there are like completely different like backgrounds. But at the same time, like especially nowadays in current events like going on. And then when you talk about something, it feels like you've been in the same room all this time. So that's for me personally, because I don't get I don't get a lot of that at home, and it's self-inflicted because I really should go out more often.
Ito,
Here's the funny thing na parang I wish I could get into local residencies.
have you
but-
applied?
Yeah, but there are so many good artists here. I always get turned down. And then that's the funny thing na parang ma-accept ako abroad. Pero mas competitive dito. No joke. Mas competitive
Really?
dito.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we have different experiences. Ako mas mabilis ako with the local compared to
Like,
the
gusto
international.
ko na tawag, please just bring me, to Visayas, where I was born. So I could work there, but
Yeah. Oo, so
So far I
depends
haven't
talaga,
gotten that.
no?
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends talaga, no? Kasi sa akin, it was harder applying abroad compared to applying locally.
Kasi, to be fair naman, a lot of people abroad want the same thing na. We want people from completely different backgrounds to be able to work with us so that we can learn from each other. So in a way, you have that added benefit of being someone that they have not encountered before.
Mm-mm.
Whereas in here, you're like, we know you.
Mm-mm.
Let's get someone who's like younger, or who has either has more experience than me or less experience than me, so that they can also either help them out or work with them towards something long term.
Mm-mm. Yeah. So, personally ba, how did being in those residencies affect your practice?
Oh, a lot. I would not have been experimenting more with the torn canvas series that I've been working on if it weren't for the residencies and the artists that I've worked with. Kasi they were the ones who were telling me na even the ones that I tore apart, and they were just like locally they wouldn't call them paintings. Pero when they saw my studio, when they saw my work during like the studio visits, so it would be like, that's a self-portrait. And I got it right away because that's what I wanted to portray, but I couldn't like state it outright. And then when I brought it up, and then they understood what I was doing, I'd be like, okay, who cares if I don't earn from this? This is my perspective. This is what I want. So at least they're the ones that, oh, I paint, pa rin conventionally. And then there's the ones that I create for myself.
Ito, this is a more practical part. Do art
Oh, do
residencies
not ask me about practical part.
do art residencies raise the value of your work?
I don't know. Kasi, well, for one, this is pre-COVID and post-COVID. And I believe the market changed a lot post-COVID. Kasi it went from, can you exhibit as big as possible, to can you exhibit to real estate, to smaller condominiums. That and, ayun nga, nagbago yung priorities ng mga tao. And so I'm not the person to ask when it comes to money. I don't even know where my works go. Kasi my goal is I create something and I see myself in it, and it'd be like, okay, whether or not it gets sent elsewhere or it gets shuffled around, and be like, that's up to either the gallery or the seller.
Mhm.
I just want enough to cover the next materials and I'm good. And like I said, I am privileged to have this perspective. Kasi I don't have a family. I don't need to feed a family, just one
Just a cat.
animal.
Yeah.
And if I ever like do not have the, if I cannot continue anymore, then I'll end up doing something else but still paint. So yun naman yung perspective. But my priority is, do I like what I'm doing? And is this something na I see myself in? So yeah, when it comes to the practical stuff, don't.
Yeah. Yes. And then it's good din that you say that, kasi I think people don't verbalize it enough, na even if the world is ending, you'll still be painting.
Because I have
For
a feeling na, kasi it's important in your CV eh. So I write na the seminars I've done, the talks I've participated in, the residencies I put. So I have a feeling naman, since it's important enough to be in a curriculum vitae, then it's noteworthy na I've been here, I have experience,
Yeah, of course.
especially the one where you get to exhibit abroad is big.
Yeah. Saka yun nga, saka I think na if you're going to apply for residencies, it is better if yung perspective mo is towards yourself as an artist in terms of experimenting work or elevating your art. I mean, quote-unquote, yung word elevating, or just experimenting and experiencing things. And you shouldn't be thinking about the value of it afterwards, kasi yung experience alone of being outside of your comfort zone and meeting new people, gaining new experiences, it's priceless on its own.
Like you don't, like I personally did not think about my being brown and my being Filipino until I was outside of the default setting of being brown and Filipino. You don't, yeah, like I don't want to say you, I want to say I. Like I didn't expect to feel that much of that identity being on the forefront until I encounter these people who are not like me and who end up asking me
Yeah.
so many questions about.
And genuinely asking, I say they want to know more about where we came from and what we do. And then why we speak English so much.
Yeah.
And listen to their music. So anyway, yeah.
I remember there was this potluck event at Leipzig,
Hmm.
and everyone showed up with their local dishes. And me not doing anything because, for example, me being scared na, what if I cook adobo really poorly and then they would think it sucks, but it's amazing. So I ended up not doing anything. And then it made me feel less Filipino. So yun yung parang those are the stuff na I would never have thought about.
Yeah.
If I hadn't been there outside of
Exactly.
my context. Diba?
When I went to Italy, so si Ma'am Lenny Robredo asked me to her office kasi she was going after me.
Yeah, I remember that.
She was going after me. Tapos sabi niya, it would help if when you get there, ito, na rin to sa mga mag-apply, advice, na you buy mini souvenirs. Like, for example, dried mangoes.
Yeah.
Tapos you give it to your co-fellows, di ba?
So the second time I was at the museum in Florida. I provided them yung mga jeepney magnets,
Exactly.
yung mga tote bags na from and then of course my postcards. So they
They really
so
appreciate
nilagay
it,
nila dun sa mga pantry nila. So now we have like jeepney magnets at their office fridge. Just cute. Pati
Oo.
mga mugs, Yeah.
Yeah, di ba? Tapos mine, I brought up dried mangoes and pili nuts. So, yung pili nut is not usual,
Yeah, I was scared of bringing food kasi. Yeah. Pero I understood the dried mango kasi may dried mango sa sa California. So my brother in California lives near this grocery of all Filipino stuff.
So you were
So
able to get there.
I figured na baka they have those dried mangoes. But I remember more than 10 years ago na super rare siya for example in Japan. Or it's either super rare or super expensive. So I ended up giving them to residents there. They wrote long letters expressing how grateful they were. Na parang, oh, these were so nice. And I'd be like, these are just 50 pesos.
Hindi, pero it's a simple gesture that
Yeah.
that gives back a lot eh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yung sa akin, after I gave out the dried mangoes on my first day, as in, everyone took a liking agad and then they were comfortable agad with me. So, that's one advice na whenever you get into
It's so nice din from Ma'am Lenny, di ba? Because she knows what it's like.
Yeah, kasi she gets invited na to a lot of talks, di ba?
Yeah.
So, she told me to do that. I did it. And then it did wonders.
I don't know if we still do it, but I remember when we would have famous international artists and writers who would visit here for book signing. There would be people like my friends who would bring like dried mangoes, calamansi juice,
Calamansi.
and then they would write in their blog afterwards. They'd be like, "Oh, I got addicted to calamansi juice," and and they had this really sour things that I really like.
Yeah.
So it created an impression on them enough na pag bumalik sila for the next book signings and stuff, they'd be like, where's my where's my polvoron? Where's my chalk na?
Exactly. So, yeah.
So nagkaroon ng parang local tradition here, which,
Yeah.
of course, Filipinos and food.
Yeah, of
Yun yung
course.
di ba? Yun yung the one thing that I learned from Miss Doreen, from Miss Doreen, yung food historian natin na we don't have pronouns, but we have so many ways to describe the ways of eating. And that's what we prioritize as a people.
Very happy to. Anyway, so yeah, that was very informative. I enjoyed that, lalo na the last part about the residency part. I think it'll go a long way for our viewers.
That's nice kasi I always feel like I have not done a lot of residencies. I have not done a single Asia-based residency, for instance. And I feel like it's always more competitive here and Asia than elsewhere. So it would be nice like someday. But it's still hard.
Tapos you can talk about it again.
Yeah. I like how when I was in Florida, for instance, and then I met with so many like nice artists from New York, and they'd be like, "Oh, you apply here, here, and here, all in the States."
Yeah.
Tapos mas welcoming pa sila, and I'm just like, but I want somewhere closer to home. If only Linangan would accept me. It's my fault then kasi all over the place usually talaga yung applications ko. Kasi one, I usually find out pag yung deadline na is like on the same day na and in a few hours and be like, oh crap. Kasi my friends usually recommend the ones, understandably, the ones that are out of my comfort zone because they'd be like, please do something. Do this. So, ayun. So, I'm like usually ill-prepared. So, I guess that's the biggest advice both of us can like.
It takes time. It really takes time. Tapos, the residents, they know the foundations or the organizers, they know if you did something haphazardly or you've recycled this part.
Yeah.
They
You'd
would
be
know,
like, hey, alam namin yung kalokohan mo.
So, yeah. I think this would warrant the second round once we get our Asian residencies, ano? So, any last advice or words that you want to share before we end this episode?
I guess this also applies to me always, is that never be afraid to ask for help. Kasi what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. Oo.
I say that and then end up jinxing ourselves, but
Yeah. So, yun. Yeah. So, that's it. Thank you. Thank you for agreeing to this.
Thank you.